All right. Now that I'm home, we changed our flight last night. We took a red eye last night at 10:30. Got to Cincinnati about 4:30 or so, and then I had to drive the 4 hours and 15 minutes home. So I got home about 9:15, or no, it was after stopping and everything. I think it was like 9:30 this morning. Lots of time to think about everything that happened. Essentially, I lost my first match, won my second match, and lost the third match. So I was out after 3 matches. The first match, we're going to preface this to say this event is always, it's a difficult event to win because you've got to catch the breaks and you've got to catch the right people at the right time. I bowled pretty good the first match against Cameron Foster. At least the first 2 games. I bowled, I ended up bowling 613 total to lose, but I was 446 after 2, bowled a couple of pretty good games, and he was 443. And he caught some breaks in there, which is part of the game. That's how it goes. I was visually frustrated, watching it. I think in the first 2 games, there were 3 or 4 Brooklyns in key moments that almost seemed to always turn into doubles or were for doubles. But with that being said, even 3 or 4 Brooklyns, those first 2 games, I was still up 3 pins, so it was okay. But that last game, I didn't strike for like the first 5 frames, or at least I know I didn't double, and he ended up going back-to-back Brooklyn for a 4-bagger, to put a 4-bagger together, and it was a dagger. It was a very difficult thing to watch, and emotions run high. So when we're out there competing, people are going to either they're going to say things off the cuff, they're going to react in different ways, based on everything, which is exactly what happened in that match and exactly what happened in my match against Packy. I was behind the breaks for sure the first match. Didn't catch nearly the amount of breaks I needed, and Cameron did, and that's just how it goes. So he ended up beating me that first match, and so I had to go to the losers bracket where I bowled Michael Patterson, and he had 0 on that pair. The pair was tough. The pair was brutal. It was not easy at all. He bowled, I think, 520 to my 6 something. I didn't bowl. I bowled pretty good to control the pair, to be able to, basically keep it in play and make sure I made my spares and stay ahead. But it just wasn't a fun pair. So he didn't have much of a look on that pair. And that's kind of how this tournament is. It's you catch the right people at the right time. There were a lot of matches where, 530, 540 was winning. So many times you catch a bad pair and both guys struggle, and it's hard to battle on those pairs. But I guess I'd rather have those pairs than the pairs where Tommy Jones beats Chris Prather 770 to 750. On the easier pair, or the pairs that you break down, or whatever, however you want to look at it. Easier pair, they bowled great. I don't, however you want to say it. Both, combination of both. This was a pattern that was very easy on the right side. It didn't take much of a miss left to get the ball to go Brooklyn. That's for sure. On the left side, they were all throwing urethane, so it takes a pretty bad miss to go Brooklyn there. We'll get to that. So, win that match and move on. I got both Packy on 53 and 4, and bowled pretty good throughout the entire match, really. I ended up bowling 652. I had two Brooklyns and a trip 4. It was either 2 or 3 Brooklyns and a trip 4 that actually went in my favor there. But he also had 3 Brooklyns and a roll 3-pin. And the kicker is his came at the right time. So again, things happen. That's bowling. That's how it goes. You're going to catch some breaks. You're going to have breaks go against you. In my first match, I was saying a lot of the same stuff that Packy was. Like, dang it. Like, how the heck do I, he's going to keep going Brooklyn and I'm going to not catch any breaks, stuff, things like that. Packy was very vocal about not being appreciative when I went Brooklyn. So, he says at the end of his video, I didn't say Brooklyns were a bad thing. I just don't like when people do it against me. And I completely agree with that. I 100% agree with that. That's the word. I mean, it does suck watching somebody throw it bad and get away with it and strike. I can deal with a roll 2 for the most part, or a trip 4. At least they're, those are at least close. But, a Brooklyn generally is not very close. Now, what I will say is on our side of the lane, it did not take much to go Brooklyn. You pinch it off just a little too short, and it would pick up fast, and it would get across there. So you had to throw it. You could just be marginal and still go Brooklyn. Packy, on the other hand, is using your thing. You have to. I mean, you got to throw pretty bad to get it to go and actually cross over. And when he needed it, he needed the first strike in the 10th. And then 9 spare because I got 6 on the fill, which was crazy to me because I didn't get 6 the entire game. And I thought about it, and I'm like, I should just throw it up the middle. I got to get at least 9 here to force a double. And I didn't. I'm like, I've been throwing it good. I mean, I haven't thrown it bad enough to, get 6 yet. My worst has been 4-pin or 6-pin generally. And this time I happened to big 4, got 6 on the fill, which allowed him to go strike 9 spare to beat me. And before he even got up in the 10th, to even be in that situation, he rolled a 3-pin. And in Packy fashion, did his little slap off and got all excited. Which is cool. I mean, that's fine. But then gets up the very next shot and goes Brooklyn. At least he didn't, go nuts and say something silly like, oh, I finally got mine, because I'm fairly certain he had more Brooklyns and more breaks than I did. So, and that's the way it goes. You get more breaks, you tend to win. That's the way it goes. So for me, the breaks just weren't on my side, not in the right times. And my opponents happened to catch them. That's just how it goes. So from there, he went strike, and then he stone 8 spare, essentially. So he threw the second one pretty good in stone 8. But again, at the end of the day, it's my fault because I should have gotten 9 on the fill, because I highly doubt he's doubling in the 10th if I get 9 there. But you never know. Who knows? Maybe he would have won Brooklyn twice. Who knows? I have no idea. But it was fun. I mean, it felt pretty good to actually be competitive a little bit anyway. I still felt some times when it was frustrating, couldn't quite do what I wanted to do, but the lanes were so hard. Like at times they were so impossible. And so you're going to watch a TV show and some of these guys are going to strike a ton and you're going to be like, they don't look that hard. Well, the guys that are making the show, generally, they have the best looks in the building. Like Buttriff's out there. He bowled 660, 790, and 760 his first 3 matches yesterday. It's like, what? And then you got Tommy Jones. Like, I crossed next to Tommy the entire week, and he just grinded through qualifying, to barely get into the cut. And, well, I don't know. I think he got to 100 over or something, so he wasn't barely in the cut. But, it could have very easily been to where he missed the cut. And he's out there bowling 770 in match play and stuff. And it's like, man, how do these guys do it? How do you find a ball reaction like that all of a sudden? So, it takes the breaks to win this tournament, and it takes finding good ball reaction. Now, I didn't feel like my ball reaction was that bad. I thought my ball reaction was actually pretty good for the most part. If I was soft enough with my hand, I could get it going right. But that was my problem. There were still times when I kind of just pinched it a little bit. and if I did, it wouldn't get going to the right. It wouldn't clear the fronts as well. So I'm going to drill another thumb, see if I can't soften up my grip just a little bit. I got to drill one a little smaller because my hand shrunk. I actually had to put tape on the back of my thumb to fill the gap in the hole. Otherwise, I would have had to use another extra 2 or 3 pieces of tape in the ball, which would have changed the feel quite a bit. But just some more things to deal with. Not a big deal. But anyway, so that drawing is going to be up here pretty soon. We're going to be giving away that bowling ball. I think it ends tomorrow, I believe. So links in the description to sign up. Appreciate y'all following along. I know this was pretty boring. This was just me talking about bowling. That's a boring video, but that's okay. Just giving you a recap and whatnot. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, and we'll see you guys probably tomorrow for something.